Hello all and welcome back to a battle between the mighty Noob for Life, who you may have seen quite often on the YouTube channel recently, been very nice and sent in lots of replays, up against Omega Drive in charge of the Lizardmen. So we have a Norscan Lizardman showdown. Norscans, of course, fantastic monster hunters, so should be very thematic and interesting. And I believe this battle is in fact from a tournament these guys did, which was an Autogen tournament. So you have to Autogen your armies, you select them, and then you just let the computer do the rest, which is an incredibly fun way of playing. Can be completely unbalanced, can be completely balanced, completely depends on, what happens. You can get some hilarious armies where you don't have a front line, or you have just ridiculous amounts of artillery and all sorts. So let's have a little look at these armies and see what we've got cracking. So, for Noob for Life, who is in charge of the mighty Norscans, it looks like on the left-hand flank we have some marauded chariots, who'll be very good at clearing up skinks and so forth, less good against Saurus and whatnot. And for the front line, he has got some marauder spearmen with some chevrons on them, some basic marauders, and some marauder champions, so a very mixed front line there. And backing them up, he does have the Brutes of the Hound, marauders, berserkers, regiment round, plus another unit of marauder berserkers, so not a bad little infantry corps. And in fact, in reserve, he has another unit of marauder berserkers and some marauders with great weapons. Berserkers, one of my favourite units to take as a Norscans. One, look how unbelievably enthusiastic he is. Looks like he actually has, is that his beard on his tongue, or is that tattoos on his tongue? Well, whatever it is, they are absolute nutcases. They're damage dealers. Yes, they take a lot of damage and they can take a lot of range fire, but up against Lizardmen, you're not often going to have to come up against too much range fire, apart from, of course, things like skink skirmishes and so forth. So that's it for his infantry corps. Over on the right-hand flank, it looks like he has a cheeky vanguard with some marauder horsemen and some marauder horsemasters. Two very good units you definitely want in this matchup to take down big dinosaurs. Looks like they're about to get some rocks dropped on their head by the Pohawk Sentinels. They're going to be accompanied by some Norscan warhounds trying to protect those guys from skirmishers. Up in the sky, we have a feral manticore. We have another marauder ice wolf chariot this time, which looks really damn awesome, and once again will be very good up against those pesky skinks and so forth. For his leadership corps, it looks like he's gone for a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal. Well, not gone for, sorry, being gifted a Shaman Sorcerer of Metal, who's brought Transformation of Lead, Final Transmutation, Glittering Robe, the Golden Hounds, Plague of Rust, and Searing Doom. So I believe when you autogen, the computer just gives you every single spell, which makes for a very, very expensive wizard and not very cost effective, but still at least you get the options there. We also have Wolfwick the Rondo with all his spells and buffs and all that good stuff, looking very bad arse. So let's have a little look at what Lizardman army was gifted. So for the main line, it looks like we have some red crested skinks mixed in with some temple guard who are triple chevron there, only bronze chevron. These guys are going to be super tanky to defeat. And he also has some skink skirmishers in the front line, the Legion of Shaquois, regiment round Saurus spears with a very cool ability, which we'll just check out here for any new players to the game, which gives you a 44% missile resistance to all allies within 30 meters when popped, which is very, very good. Some skink cohorts, and then he has an infantry corps of his own up on the high ground here, some Cold One riders and some more Cold One riders, both with a chevron respectively. And he's gone quite, well, he has quite a big air force as well. So over on the left-hand side, we have some chameleon skinks who can do some decent work up against these marauder horsemasters if they can be protected from the hounds. Pohawk sentinels, which we already discussed, who are going to come in with those rocks which do huge amounts of damage, and they're almost perfectly positioned already. We have the Colossadon hunters, regiment of renowned Ripidactyl riders. These guys will tear a dragon to pieces, let alone a poor feral manticore, especially when their buff is popped, their little rage toad thingy. Let's see what it's called. Toad Rage, there we go, almost, which gives them plus 40% weapon damage and armor piercing, but they do rampage. So that manticore I do not think is very long for the world. Now, in the back, he has some very cool units. He has a Feral Bastiladon, triple chevrons. I love these little guys. Super cheap, fantastic at breaking through the front line and just pissing off range units, basically. Overall, a little tanky, nice bit of a distraction as well. We also have a unit I don't see anywhere near as much as I would like to. As we can see, it is in a very, very weird position right now, arching his back, but it is a Bastiladon with a solar engine on top, which in this matchup it could do okay. I don't think it's got too many of the perfect targets, but it's a very cool unit to see nonetheless. We have a skink chief on the ground here who's going to be dropping his little blow darts, and we also have the mighty Krokgar on foot, which is interesting to see him, but at least that protects him from javelins and so forth, and he does of course have swiftness itself, deadly onslaught, and the sacred spawning of Hawatl. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway and and cracking. So initial shot coming in, smacking Wulfric right in the face there, doing some okay damage and doing some damage to these Marauders. Unfortunately, they're not very powerful units. And the poor Pohawk Sentinels are getting obliterated by the Marauder Horsemasters and Horsemen straight off the bat there. And the Hounds immediately try and chase down the Skinks, but fantastic reactions here by the Lizardman player. Cauldron Riders counter-charging and just driving off those Hounds pretty much instantly. Looks like we are going to have an aerial battle as the two main armies do move together, and that Ferroman score is going to be gone. However, fantastic play here by Noob for Life. Using his Marauder Horsemasters, he's going to trade very effectively. So throwing their little axes and javelins up against the Colossus Hunters, who are lightly armoured, is going to tear them apart. Yes, he loses the Manticore, but in return, he gets a much more valuable unit off the field. So fantastic play. It looks like the main battle is underway. These Red Crested Skinks are definitely going to struggle up against Marauder Berserkers, but in the middle, we have Krokgar surrounded by Temple Guard, taking on Wulfric the Wanderer, who's on a horse, so that anti-large of the Temple Guard is going to be very deadly, so he needs to be very careful. As you can see, he is taking an absolute pounding. Another Solar Blast flinging itself, but a little bit too high this time. And as we can see, up in the sky, as predicted, the Manticore did die, but in return, the Colossal Hunters are going down to some nice focus fire by the two Horseman units, and that is a really bad trade, unfortunately, for the Lizardman player. But Pohawk Sentinels have survived, and they could come in and do some nice rock drops. Looks like at the moment they're just getting some shots down on the Brutes of the Hound, who are going toe-to-toe with some Cold One Riders, which isn't the worst matchup, not the best either, but they seem to be trading fairly effectively. As we can see over in the distance, the good old Feral Basildon is charging in to try and rescue his other unit of Cold One Riders and beat down some of these chariots, which he can be very good at. Goes in there with a nice little rear headbutt on top of that Marauder Ice Wolf chariot, which I'm assuming it didn't appreciate very much. For the main battle line, though, it looks like the Norscans imagine just overwhelmed the Lizardmen, especially in this middle, but nice shot coming in again, once again, from the Solar Engine. Shaman has been driven off, looks like, by Krokgar, who then turns around and beats the snot out of Wulfric. So as his Temple Guard fail him, he steps up and beats the crap out of both of the Norscan heroes here. He really should take these Pohawk Sentinels and chase that Sorcerer off and finish him. But his Temple Guard do fail. There's just too many Berserkers there, and Krokgar is in an incredibly dangerous position. Over in the back, we do have some Spearmen trying to shut down the Basildon. Yes, they're anti-large, but Basildon has so much armour, it's going to be a bit of a slugfest, and those Spearmen will probably break and flee. Now, let's just take in the whole battlefield and appreciate these players' micro here. The battle is going on all over the place. There's a little clump of action going on over here, one in the back here. There was all the range micro that had to be done over here with the Colossus Hunters, plus the main battle line over here. This battle is fully spread across this map. And you can see, just by looking at the minimap here, how crazy this battle is. The Basildon going to be tearing apart this Marauder Stone fairly easily, and Krokgar is now just going to get run over multiple times by a chariot, but he's not going down without a fight. There's a nice little swing there, takes some HP off. It looks like Wulfric has rallied. If he has a Hand of the Gods here, this could be clutch. The 360 no-scope taking out Wulfric would be very nice. The Skink Chief getting in there against some Marauder Berserkers, not exactly where he wants to be, and it looks like the Pohawk Sentinels still have their rock chop, which could be very key. In the background, we can see Marauders just clearing up the kind of forward positions here, picking off the Legion of Shakwa from behind, using his chariots and using his extra mobility just to isolate and pick off these units. So things are looking a little bit scary now for the Lizardmen. It looks like Krokgar, I mean, if he gets one or two shots off, he does have Hunter of Champions popped to him, but also Deadly Onslaughts. If he can get one or two good hits on Wulfric, Wulfric is down, but at the same time, if Wulfric hits Krokgar first, he's only got 305 health, he's also gone, and he's just running them over with chariots right now, which isn't too good for him, of course. Feral is just looking on in awe, looking at Krokgar, his buddy, getting taken down, but it looks like he is having none of it, coming in with the rear charge, trying to protect his lord, and bam, straight in there, destroying a chariot with pure feral rage on the charge there. Very angry boy himself, and he's in fact turning to engage Wulfric the Wanderer, and it looks like he's going to force him into a terror rout. He is terrified there, and he flees before the mighty Feral Basildon. Look at him in all his glory, doing his solemn duty to protect Krokgar there. But it looks like Krokgar is going to be running for the hills. Basildon now chasing off some Marauder Horsemen. One MVP here, really trying to hold this Lizardman army together as the power balance does switch away from them. It looks like Wulfric's coming in again, just about dodging a Solar Engine shot from that first Basildon, and in he comes with a big old headbutt, rams Wulfric right back. His horse does rear up, but it looks like it didn't actually make full connection. We do have some darts now coming in by the looks of it from somewhere. It looked like there was some range attack coming on Wulfric there, but he is in fact broken once again and fleeing, but it looks like Basildon is now in a bit of no man's land. So Krogar has in fact rallied, but he's just constantly getting run over by this little lone Marauder chariot. Not a nice way to go, getting trodden on by that. But a solar engine shot by the Bastildon. These Bastildons really keeping Krogar alive and the Lizardmen in the game, with a fire shot coming down and scaring off that Marauder chariot. Looks like the Chameleons have rallied to the field here, but they are out of ammo. Powerhawk's Sentinels also have ammo, but up to 27 kills, been doing some decent damage, have charged into combat on top of some Marauder Champions, which seems like a battle they don't really want to be in. And the Lizardmen are rallying some of their forces, which were getting cleaned up before in the background here, but with the power balance starting to go against them, I can't see their leadership holding. Bastildon has gone into a feral rage up against Wulfric, who did so much damage to his lord, and has once again managed to chase off Wulfric, in fact completely shatter him by the looks of it. What an absolute beast. But he is completely surrounded out by great weapons, Brutes of the Hound, some Spearmen coming in as well. He is Rampage. Some Cold One Riders and Skink Cohort desperately running in to try and save who I assume they would promote to their new lord for being such a badass, but I think that's going to be a little bit too little too late over there. And as we can see over here, the solar engine has finally gone down. 67 kills though is no small feat. And Chameleon Skinks, they're okay in combat, but they're going to get dragged down quite easily by Marauder Berserkers, and it looks like this could be game. Krogar being chased and escorted off, as well as the Skink Chief. Both his leadership is now gone. Marauder Champion's going to be escorting them off the field. Now, do we have the Shaman of Metal? It looks like he's gone as well. There he is, running it in the distance. So all the leadership is gone, so there could be a tear out, maybe, of the Bastildon's rally, but the power balance is just too far against them, and I think those guys are going to be fleeing for the hills. Unfortunately, he's gone, and the mighty hero, the last one standing, the heroic Bastildon over here, surrounded by enemies, does decide, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm going to bounce and get out of here. So very well played there, and a nice victory for a noob for life. So, as I said, originally these are random auto-generated armies. I can't break down the armies too much, but let's see what they were given. Nice infantry corps for Noob for Life, and it did enough. You know, there wasn't really that much Saurus to take on. You can see poor Omega Drive only actually had 4 kind of combat units as his main line. So they just got overwhelmed, even the mighty Temple Guard. But very nice play, utilising his numbers, surrounding the Temple Guard, dragging them down even when Krogar was fighting alongside them. Really nice pick early on. So the Manticore play, you know you're going to lose it, so sacrificing it to the Colossodon Hunters, and then just blitz them with the Marauder Horsemasters. Marauder Horsemen was a fantastic value straight off the bat. Also did a really good job mid-game type level, where he was just chasing off units at that midway point to ensure they couldn't come back for the late game and try and turn things around, as it was pretty hit and miss and pretty damn close for quite a long time, on then balancing on a knife's edge as the battlefield just spread and there was individual battles going on all over the place. But the Lizardman, the Norscans with their added mobility managed to use that to their advantage and pick off those little sections. So overall, some fantastic play by Noob for Life. He really does need to change his name. He is no longer a noob. He is in fact a very good player. Now for the Lizardmen, the real MVPs here with the Bastildons. This Bastildon taking down Wulfric, taking down some chariots, getting in there, causing all kinds of menace. Really tried his best to save Krogar. And the solar engine with 67 kills. Looks like it might have gone up a chevron. I'm not sure if it started on 2. But overall, some really nice play. So guys, you may have realised I've mainly been doing community casts at the moment of different people playing. That's because I've been taking a small break from playing multiplayer. However, with the DLC coming out, expect a lot more games featuring myself, so I'm going to be trying to get back into the swing of things, waiting for that DLC. Now, if you do want to see me do a campaign as either Malice Darkblade or Death Master Snicketch, do go back to my previous video. It's called Vote Now, I believe, and on there you can just leave a comment underneath the YouTube video and let me know which one you want me to play, and if I get enough votes and enough interest in it, I will do probably a live stream on the 13th. But I will also do a campaign, which would be very cool. And yeah, just a walkthrough. It'd be cool to have you guys chilling out with me, give me advice as I make terrible life decisions, and you can scream at me, which is, you know, pretty damn awesome. So if you guys did enjoy, please do leave a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'd also like to give a shout out to Poison Ducky, who is a YouTuber. I will try to remember to leave a link to his YouTube channel in the comments down below. If I don't, please someone just like yell at me in the comments. Please leave a link to his channel, who may have solved my problems with Stronghold Crusader, which I spoke about in some of my previous videos, which is a game I'm trying to get to work on OBS, and he may have come up with some solutions. So please do go check out his channel. Say hi from another duck, one duck to another. He's a very cool dude, super nice guy, and he does play Total War as well as a variety of games, so check him out and subscribe to him as well, all that good stuff. So until next time guys, peace, and stay awesome.